Hello. Well, today I'd like to talk to you about something called personal growth or personal development. Now, when you ask me what my definition of personal development is, or personal growth, it's really what's required to get me from where I am now to where I want to be in the future, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the track. So for you, if I was to say, how's your personal development doing and going, and what are you doing to develop yourself personally, I'd be saying, well, what are you doing to get yourself from where you are now to ideally where you'd love to be in the future? Now, that just doesn't need to be based around your business. It could be around your family, your relationships, your health, your wealth, your leadership skills, any area that you'd love to develop and achieve a fuller potential than you're currently achieving in your life right now. So, personal development, when you have a look at, is where you are right now. Now, let's have a look at your business, let's have a look at your family, your relationships, your health, your wealth status. Where would you love to be in the future? And that this is what we call the gap, or the knowledge gap, often to get you along there and bring that forward, that future to you a lot quicker. Now, why do we need to continue to develop ourselves personally? Jim Rohn said famously that formal education will give you a living and provide you a living, but self-education will provide you with a fortune. So, a lot of people stop learning and growing and developing themselves once they leave school or university or trade school, and they have all their technical skills to do what they do effectively. But that's about where it stops. And then they just assume or expect everything else to happen for them along their lives. We talk about wealth. Why is it that 95% of the population, when they get to 65, that miracle retirement age, are either dead or dead broke? Why is it that over 50% of relationships or marriages in this country end up in divorce? Why do we see so much disharmony and disunity in families? A lot of people get stale and stagnant with what they're doing. They get stuck in a rut, and they say the only difference between a rut and a grave is that the rut is a grave with the ends dug out of it. So, my question to you is, what are you doing to develop yourself personally to improve all aspects of your life, rather than just expecting it to happen? It says that it's been said that it takes about 10,000 hours of practice and learning and study to become a master of something. So if you break 10,000 hours down into 20 hours a week, you're looking at about 10 years. And a lot of people will be able to expect to master their relationships, their health, their wealth, and their business just like that. And yes, we do get taught, these famous seminars of life that cost us thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars that come along, and that's how we develop our experience. But what are you doing right now to develop yourself personally in lots of different areas? So let's have a look at that. Let's take one aspect, business. A lot of people are very good at technically what they do. They're great technicians, and if you refer back to the E-Myth, that's what we talk about, is a technician who has an entrepreneurial seizure and thinks they can now run a business. And that's why I guess we have our business mastery course, our business programs, to help people who are great technically at what they do become better at running a business. So if you really want to master the art of business, yes, you're coming to the college once a month, but what are you doing to master the art of business outside of that? What are you learning and studying? If you're a business owner, leadership is definitely something that I believe you should be studying and learning and developing yourself in every single day. Now, a certain part of leadership is instinctive, it's innate, it's behavioural, but there are certain things about becoming a great leader around communication, empowering, influencing, and developing others that can be taught and can be learned. So if you want to become a master of being a business owner and a business leader, what are you doing to study in the area of leadership? We have a look at health. A lot of people would love to be better physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, from a health perspective. But rather than just expecting that to happen, how much are you devoting to becoming a healthier individual? What are you learning about the food you put in, about your body, about what to exercise and how to care for yourself? if you want this, vehicle to be around in another 50 or 60 years and looking after yourself, what are you doing to invest in it right now? Wealth. Wealth is another topic that a lot of people say, I'd love to be wealthy, I'd love to have more money, I'd love to be able to do more with, my life, but what's holding me back is my finances. Well, the question I have is, how much are you actually investing in time and resources to learn about money? If you want to become a master of your wealth and a master of your financial situation, it isn't just going to happen. No one's coming. It's not going to miraculously happen overnight. But what are you doing to expand and grow and develop your mind? Now, often growth happens from an experience perspective, and they say that the ultimate growth happens at the border of chaos and order. You have a chaotic situation, but you have a little bit of order there to help you get through it, and that's when maximal growth occurs. My recommendation is, if you want to grow and develop yourself and your business and your life into a whole nother level, look at a way to structure a personal growth session into your life on a daily or weekly basis. And we'll look at different ways to do that in a minute. Now, one of the things that I was asked, or I asked one day, is how much I should be investing in my mind and my growth and my future. And my wealth mentor at the time said, John, well, what are you actually reading and studying right now? And this is going back quite a number of years ago now, and I was reading, Ralph magazine, Sports Illustrated, FHM, and he said, let me ask you a question. Of the money you invest in that, how much of a return are you getting that is going to give you a better future, health, wealth, family, relationships wise? And the answer wasn't much. So he said, what I'm going to recommend you do now, John, is invest a percentage of your income into your future and into your mind, your greatest asset, 6 inches between your ears, on a regular basis. He said, how much are you earning right now? And I was a little bit embarrassed about how little I actually was earning at the time. So I coughed up an imaginary figure, and let's say, for example, it was $30,000. So I was earning $30,000, and he said, what I want you to do is take 10% of that and invest it in personal growth and development. And I said, what do you mean? What sort of stuff? He said, I'd like you to buy books on areas that you'd like to develop in your life. I'd like you to go and do seminars. I'd like you to take people who you respect out to lunch and coffee and pick their brains and ask them questions about what they did to get them from where they were to where they are now. So I said, you mean to take $3,000? And he said, yes, $3,000. Because if your future is as important to you as you tell me that it is, you'll get that return 10-fold, 20-fold, 100-fold. So I did what he suggested. I bought some books and some seminars. I was interested in becoming wealthier, healthier, better business owner. And he said, okay, what do you think? And this is my question to you. What do you think happened when I took all of this information and I took action on it? What happens to this? And the answer is yes. It went up. So let's say it was $50,000. And I then took $5,000 and I added to the knowledge that I had gained in the first lot, took action on it. Now, not everything, but something will always rub off. Over time, an income increase, and then we need to take $10,000, add it to what you've learned along the way, and over time you keep investing back into yourself. It's like planting seed and watering and fertilising. Over time, maybe, just maybe, the $1 million mark is reached. But then the fun really starts, because if you are continuing to never settle for what you have right now and always believe you can be better, remember, complacency is the biggest enemy of success. This is where the fun starts. Now you have to take $100,000 and invest it back into your brain, which means you're now flying overseas, you're doing these week-long seminars, you're investing in the best coaches and mentors that you have for your business and your future. And one of the things I can say is that this works. I can't think of anything simpler but more effective than what you do and invest back into your mind. Now, a lot of people say, geez, I'd love to have this. I'd love to be earning that a year. But they're not prepared to start here. In fact, they're not even prepared to start and invest in perhaps a $30 book. A $30 book. a $30,000 book, a $30 book. Now, I'm a real big believer that you invest, whatever you invest, you get more out of. If something's for free, it's worth nothing. You know, the reason why we charge a price for the courses that we do is because if you had it for free, I guarantee most people would never do anything with it. Free information is worth nothing. So a big believer that the more you invest, the more action you will take. The more action you will take, the more results you will get. And you'll look back and say, wow, that was the best money I ever invested. Now, one of the things I want you to be careful is be careful who you share what you're investing back into yourself. Often if you share with people how much you're going to be investing back into yourself, they'll laugh at you. Go, what, you spent $5,000 on a seminar, on a course or a workshop? Because they may not understand. But I look back at the thousands of dollars that I've invested, and I've added it up recently, you know, well over $250,000 that I've invested into myself personally. And to build my business skills, my wealth skills, my health skills, my relationships, my communication. And now it's starting to pay off. Now I'm starting to see some great rewards from that. But back then, you don't want to share with people what you're actually investing because they may not understand what you're actually going to get from it. And I know that I've got 10, 20, 100 times the return on some of the investments that I've made in my own personal learning. So just to wrap all that up, have a look and discuss with your buddies today, you know, what is it that you'd love to learn and grow and develop in, what you'd love to become a master of, and then take some action on what you're actually going to do about that. Buy some books, start a library. You know, an interesting thing about libraries is that the wealthiest people in their house usually have a library. Now, what came first? The house or the library? And more often than not, it's the library that came first. Now, you may not have read every book on the library, but you'll always feel more intelligent walking past it and knowing that the resources are there. So start a library, a book library, an audio library, go to workshops and seminars, and you start hanging around and associating with people who are on the same journey as you, and that's what makes it even more exciting. So a commitment to personal growth will always accelerate you from where you are now to where you want to be and close the gap. And the interesting thing is that whenever you get to where you'd like to be, if you continue to grow, there will always be this gap. And that's the exciting thing about the future. So a commitment to growth. Have a fantastic month, and we'll chat to you next time.